Say with me, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Dayan Ha'emet. Blessed are you, Lord our God, the Judge of truth. Amen. If you can help Gary. Usually if you grab the bottom. Yeah, you got it. Jay, do you have the thing? We have that thing.
Got it.
You got it.
Done.
Okay, good. Though we cannot all be standing here together at the graveside in Cleveland, physically holding each other up, we still gather today, both physically and virtually, to share words of praise, of gratitude and thanks, of honor and respect, of love for our dear Sally, a beloved daughter, a beloved sister, a beloved wife, a beloved mother, a beloved grandmother, a beloved great-grandmother, a beloved aunt, and a beloved friend. And I will open the service with a few of our traditional readings from the Bible at moments like today. As we celebrate a beautiful long life, and we're also feeling great sense of loss. For 90 years, we still wish it was more that she could be with us. מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא אכזר בנותשי ירביצני על מי מנוחות ינעלני. נפשי ישובב ינחני במקלי צדק למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות לא ירא כי אתה עמדי. שבטך משענתך המה ינקמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צוררי תשענת בשמן ראשי כסיל רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי. ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. You're welcome to read along with me Psalm 23 in the English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In our Jewish tradition, every Friday night at the Shabbos table, there's a prayer which traditionally members of the family recite for their mother, and for their wife, and for their grandmother, called Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. I know that when we met as a family last night on Zoom, you said that one of the qualities that really defined Sally was her strength. And she was a true Eshet Chayil, a true woman of valor. Our Bible reads, "What a precious find is a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks no thing. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. She opens up her hand to the needy. She extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with strength and splendor. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household, never eats the bread of idleness. Her children come forward and bless her. Her husband praises her, saying, 'Many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all.' Charm deceitful and beauty vain, a God-fearing woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruits of her hand, and when every people gather, may her deeds always speak her praise." At the age of 90, Sally has returned home. She's returned to all those who have gone before, and we gather here to say goodbye. Sally Milstein has left behind many in mourning, her children Marilyn and Ed, Gary and Beth Ann, daughter in love, not just in love, Brigitte. The apples of her eye, her grandchildren, Avi and Jackie, Sarah and Ross, Max, Samantha, Lizzie and Shaw. The diamonds in her crown, her great-grandchildren, Aaron and Maxim, Brody and Miles, her devoted sister Helen, adoring niece Laura, and adoring nephew Charlie, and so many family friends. Sally joins those who have gone before, her son Jeffrey taken from us too soon, her husband of 30 years Saul also taken us very early, her second husband Hank, her parents Emma and Joe Stern. She rejoins them all in heaven. At this point we have a special tribute from her grandson Max.
What else is there to say other than, Grandma Sally was an amazingly kind and gracious, caring grandmother. I loved spending time at her house in Boca. Loved the family dinners, the holidays, and she was just a very easygoing and kind and welcoming soul, and it troubles me that in the last few months or years of her life that I couldn't spend more time with her, and that she also wasn't as vivid as back in my early days. But I'll cherish the memories of her driving me to school when I was living in Beechwood and not being able to take the bus to Orange. Cherish the memories of her buying me my favorite tuna fish that I still dream of when I was going to, every time I went to visit her. I would say fresh squeezed orange juice, but that was for my family, not me, because I don't drink orange juice. What else is there to say? I mean, she was extremely generous as well, from the dinners to the gifts along the years, and I'll miss her dearly. And unfortunately she was also taken too soon mentally, so the last few years of her life I couldn't really cherish those. And she was really my only grandparent that I had the pleasure to know beyond about 3 years old, or that could speak English with me. So yeah, I don't have much else to say, and I know that all of her grandchildren feel similarly, and her children as well, and that she will be missed.
Thank you, Max. The rabbis say that words from the heart enter our hearts, so you truly brought your grandmother to life. I know that your cousins and your sister who are zooming in, I know they share the same, and I'm going to share a couple words from Samantha, who shared similar beautiful memories. Gracious and glamorous. Sally had a good heart. In Yiddish we say a gute neshama. She was a sweet and kind soul. She was fancy. She was full of life, vibrant, and incredibly strong. Life wasn't always easy, but she made it look easy. She lived life to the fullest, always with incredible generosity. Sally treated you all equally. There were no favorites. You were all equally her favorite. What one got, the other got. So much love to go around. And Beth Ann shared this story which exemplified it. It happened one time that Sally and Jeff made a bet about which team won the World Series years ago. It was a hefty bet. It was $1,000. And when they checked their record books, they found out that Sally had lost. She didn't just pay up Jeff. She treated each of her kids with the same way that she did just one. Marilyn and Gary included, plus Jeff, each got $1,000, even though they weren't a part of the bet. Sally got along with everyone. She was accepting, respectful, always warm and smiling. Family was the number one priority in her life. She lived for each and every one of you. She was so proud of each and every one of you. She quelled over you. She would do anything for you. Born in Akron, Sally was raised here in the Heights. After graduating from Heights High, she was soon married to the love of her life, Saul. Perhaps fitting on this New Year's weekend, she met her beloved Saul at a New Year's dance. The story goes, from the moment he saw Sally, he was smitten. He knew she was the one for him. She was gorgeous and super glamorous. Married in August 1948, not soon after graduating, honeymooning in Atlantic City. You have pictures of her in her bikini from that honeymoon, standing on the diving board and posing. She couldn't swim, but that didn't stop her from sharing her glamorous beauty. She could also eat like a truck driver. She'd joke about herself, "My name is Jimmy, and I'll eat what you feed me." Even though she had expensive tastes in clothes, your dad would joke, "I'd rather clothe her than feed her." Like that night she ate 12 dozen clams at the clam bake. Saul and Sally shared a loving marriage cut too short by his health problems and early death in 1978. They were a fun, loving couple. They rode motorcycles, enjoyed their time at Hawthorne Valley Country Club, golfing, traveling the world, including to Mexico, hosting parties, raising their 3 children, Marilyn, Jeff, and Gary, at their home on Ranch Road in Beechwood. And when you'd visit in Florida, she loved having you there, taking you to the newest restaurant each time, even if it was always the same restaurant. As a mother, you told me she made sure we had everything we ever needed. She took care of everything. We never lacked a thing. She may not have been a cook. Even your dog Schlepper wouldn't eat her meatloaf. But she was the best mom. Marilyn, you told me that seeing your daughter now raising her children, you realized that Sally was the ultimate role model. She taught you how to be a mom, which you imparted upon your daughter, and now she's raising that next 4th generation. You cherish that special visit you had last September when 4 generations gathered here in Cleveland. You have a special photo which shows all of you together. Beth Ann and Brigitte, you shared with me that she was the most awesome mother-in-law, accepting you both like daughters. I'm sure Ed would also agree. You told me you felt welcome from that first meeting. You knew that she was always on your side, would do anything for you. I also know that you each showered her with that same mutual love and respect. Grandma Sally was the best, the ultimate grandma, as Max said. Samantha, you shared with me on behalf of the grandchildren, she was always your biggest supporter in everything that you decided to take on. The warmest and kindest grandma there could ever be. Your favorite memories, like Max, were your visits to Florida each year. Grandma Sally with that fresh squeezed orange juice, the famous tuna fish, the fresh bagels ready when you walked in the door. You told me that you loved having sleepovers at her apartment in Cleveland, where she'd let you cuddle her stuffed camel. Samantha, you told me you're going to miss your grandma so much. She loved having special time and special connections with each of the grandchildren. When Max and Samantha were young, she'd help and drive Max to school, like you said, every morning, except for the day when you got lost driving the same route because of a little fog. All the grandkids loved her, and in your words, she always encouraged you. She'd do anything for you. Brigitte, you shared the story that Grandma Sally took Samantha to the clothing store and she picked out a very short skirt. Brigitte, the mom, was shaking her head no, but Grandma Sally lit up, saying, "If you got it, you flaunt it." What a blessing also to be a great grandmother. to live to see a fourth generation. The great-grandchildren were such a special blessing for Sally in these last years. She didn't have it easy, much illness and loss in the family, and yet she was so incredibly strong. She took Saul out to Texas for his first bypass surgery, always making sure he got the best medical attention. She'd do anything for him. Sally had the joy to find a second love in life. Her neighbor in Florida, Herman Rothman. She married Hank. Together they had a later in life marriage filled with travel, golf, and love. As you told me, Hank truly loved Sally. They lived it up together until his health declined and he passed after 12 years of marriage. Sally had so many friends. You told me more friends than anyone you know. She loved her Maj, her canasta, her golf, her time at the club, active in Hadassah and Hort, and most of all, she loved each and every one of you. You were there for her. You made sure she was content and extremely well cared for, from Stone Gardens to Helen's Place and then the Maltz Hospice. You all watched over her, ensuring she was always cared for with compassion and love. COVID had taken away those daily visits, Marilyn coming into town as often as before, and yet you were each still there with her till the end. She knew how much you loved her. May her name always bring blessings, and we say amen. At this point, we're going to pause as the casket is lowered into the grave. Yoshe Besetayon, Betzel Shaddai Donana, Marlana Maxim Churati, Elohaya Platko, Kihu Yatsio Kanibaka, Kushmigara Votia Brata Yasakla, Betaf, Sinapata Satina, Betsakeramito, Lo Piramipaka Vela, Nehichio Fiama, Midava Biopia, Mikata Yeshutara, Unipomitsi, Karapova, Minaka, Ilakala Igashak, Benaka, Tabit, Shinkira, Kiatarana Maxilion, Santa Meonaka, Lotane Lekada, Benegalo, Igrabiola, Imalakavizala, Mishparka, Bekodaraka, Alkapani, Soon, Kapentika, Beramrakla, Kalshaka, Bepet, Kermiska, Betanin, Ibi, Kishaka, Kape, Hubiakate, Hukira, Shumi, Ukraine, Viana, Moka, Betaraka, Biakateho. Ore che mi mas vieo viore beshuati, ore che mi mas vieo viore beshuati. Shalom. May your righteous deeds go before you. May you only be remembered with love. And we say ask for those that like to participate in the shoveling. At this point, those present are going to shovel earth on the casket to pay our respects. I know we'll be shoveling on behalf of Marilyn, on behalf of the grandchildren that aren't here present but are present in so many other ways, for Lizzie and Shaw, for Samantha, for Sarah and Ross and Abby and Jackie, for Helen and the whole family. And Birgitta has beautiful roses that she's handing out to those here present, and one for each of the grandchildren that are not present will be placing upon the casket now. And at this point, I'll chant the memorial prayer, followed by the Kaddish. If you are able, please rise. El Mare Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Amatzim Menucha Nechona, Tachak Kanpei Ashechina, B'malot Kedoshim Torim, Kezorak Yamar Sirim, En Nishmat, Sorlaya Bat Yosef, Shalcha L'Olama, B'ganin Temenuchata Nabarachamim, Asti Le B'Sedek Nefek L'Ilamim, V'Tzer V'Tzrechem En Nishmato, Adonai Unachalata, V'Tanak B'Shalom HaMishkava, V'Nomar Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, to the soul of our beloved Sally, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May she merit the reward for living a life filled with kindness, love, and generosity. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace, and let us say Amen. At this point, we'll recite the mourner's Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorak v'yalam olamei omaya, Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitdaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechamata ta'amiran bi'olama v'yimru amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav lu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. We believe at this moment that Sally, your soul is ascending to heaven. Please know how grateful we are for your love, for all that you have given us and taught us. We will never forget you. We will carry on all the lessons, all the kindness, and feel your strength, even with you no longer in our midst. You will be remembered with love. We know that you've rejoined those who have gone before. And we say, Amen. And that concludes our service.